Bang, Neeves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara's not joining us today, and today we are checking out the Medford Midi Marauder. Now I will say right off the bat, I think this is possibly my favorite Medford. I really like this thing. Let's get into it. First up, Dirk Werning is the guy who sent this knife to me, and I appreciate it so much. Please go down in the description. You don't even have to look for him. Just click the link. You'll get right to his page. You can subscribe to his page and then check his channel out. Please do that. Now, let's get into the good and bad of this amazing knife. First up, this knife is it's just under 8 inches with a 3.5-inch blade. Here it is with the Shaman. Shaman's a little bit longer. And then we'll put a knife that's a little bit smaller, or a lot smaller. This is the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight, and this is the Spyderco Shaman. Sorry, I didn't say the brand, but you can see a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Now, a knife that is a very good size comparison is the Benchmade 940, and this is the -1. Let me move the camera down a little bit because I know my light's a little bit reflective right now, but they're very similar. Another one, here we go, the Hogue Ritter RSK MK1. That you can see that's a little bit longer. Now, if you know the size of the Medford Praetorian Genesis tie, they are about the same length. Okay, now let's get to this damn review. All right, so right off the bat, I do like this thing a lot, but there's always some bad, the good, bad. Let's get into it. So first up, this is a titanium frame lock knife with a Vulcan finish on this CPM D2 blade. If you don't know what CPM D2 is, from my research, it's got an edge retention about equivalent to CTS XHP, and CPM D2 is not regular D2. It's a powdered version, so it's going to be a lot better version. Now, that even being said, regular D2 is nowhere near, when it's done well, when it's done by a custom knife maker in small batches, it's going to perform way better than a production level D2. That's what everybody's used to, is production level D2. Now, D2 was never supposed to be done on a production level, so it's the edge performance, when it's done right, it has better edge retention than S35VN. Now, this has better edge retention than even that. So like I said, edge retention like CTS XHP. Now, it shines also in harder use against D2, so a lot better edge retention in harder use, so it's even stronger. Now, so don't think that just because it says D2 or you see the D for D2, it's CPM D2. It's a completely different animal. Now, okay guys, I just want to interrupt this video really quick to show you some of these Palm Industries pepper spray. These come with the most highest amount of, right here, it's the most potent amount of pepper spray you can get. Now, I don't know if you know anything about pepper spray, but there are a lot of pepper sprays, they don't work. And a lot, like I think it's like 20% of the community or something like that, 15-20%, something like that, don't even get affected by it. So this is the highest amount that you can possibly get, and this is a very good brand, and I'm going to be giving one of these away to one of our Patreons for next month. Now, I found these on Active Self Protection's channel. He highly recommends them, and I'm not sponsored by these guys at all. I'm sure he is, but you know, if you watch his channel, he devotes himself in his channel to showing you real life scenarios where people have had to defend themselves, where they've succeeded and failed. So it's a pretty graphic channel. I'm going to link his channel below. You can learn a lot. I know I've been in many situations that he shows on his channel, and even the city that I'm by is on his channel a lot. But shows you a lot of real life scenarios. But I do want to give one of these away to one of our Patreons, but I just wanted to show you guys this stuff and recommend them highly. They're like 20-something dollars, like 29 bucks or something like that, but they got a clip, you know, and what's 29 bucks? you know, if it comes to being able to save your life in with a less lethal or, you know, a self-defense way. And it can't go off in your pocket either. You got to lift this up and then push the button, which is really cool. It's got a nice clip that works well, and you can get different colors. So you can get one for your girlfriend, get one for yourself. And, you know, sometimes you don't want to use a lethal weapon. Sometimes you just need to, you know, I mean, there's lots of different situations, and you will see on this channel where many times people have succeeded in defending themselves with just some pepper spray. So it is something that does work, especially when they're as potent as one like this. You don't even have to hit the person, hit them in the chest. It's gonna affect them no matter what. I mean, these things are very powerful. You can get up to 20 something sprays with this, up to 24 bursts, or 10 seconds continuous spray, which is a long time to be sprayed by one of these. So, all right, guys, get back to the video. Now, this is it's kind of a weird Tonto because, like somebody pointed out to me, you know, it drops down. A regular Tonto just has a straight back, you know, and this has like a drop point American Tonto, and then it's not quite a full American Tonto because it has a little tiny bit of belly. Now, I mean, I guess some people could consider that straight, but a regular American Tonto is just straight and straight. Oop, straight and straight. So this has a little tiny bit of belly, and it also drops down a little bit, which I think is really cool because it makes it very useful. So you can use the tip and that secondary edge. This blade stock thickness is a little bit thinner than a lot of the other Medfords that you see. Look at the difference there. Big difference, right? Now also, this thing gets down to a lot thinner edge than I thought it was going to be. I measured this hollow ground blade, which is thinner than the flat ground part, because this is hollow, this is flat. I measured it like 17 thousandths behind the edge, which is way thinner than I thought it was going to be. This thing is very thin behind the edge. I think that's awesome. Oop, that was my fault. That's very cool. Another thing that I really like about this thing, aside from the fact that it's gonna cut pretty good for, you know, for a Medford, it's the ergos. The ergos are amazing on this thing. This is a huge statement I'm about to make, but it's definitely, for frame lock knives, this is definitely in the top 10 of the best ergos I have felt on a frame lock knife. It's just perfect. It's got the perfect width with the perfect depth, and then how it tapers down to a little bit thinner. And it just feels so good. You can creep right up to that blade. Very useful. You can manipulate it in your hand in so many ways. I mean, it's perfect. It's great. Now I know you see this symbol, this patriotic symbol down at the bottom. Very cool. Just another perk to what you can see on Medford knives if you so wish to get on your own. Very nice. I can actually feel that. Then the rest, this is just a raw titanium, which I love. Everybody knows I love raw titanium. I just find it very tool-like and very sexy. And, you know, it's going to wear in and scratch, and, you know, just like a lot of people see on a lot of knives that are raw titanium that get used, they get scratches, they get wear. But with a knife like this, it's not going to hurt the integrity. So that's really cool. So this is something that can grow old. You could give to your children or pass down, whatever, and they can have all the scratches in the world, but yet it's even stronger and better than it was from the beginning. I think that's awesome. It shows where, you know, like anything does, but it's still strong, you know, and even smoother and better than it was from the beginning. I think that's awesome. And so that's definitely a cool thing to me. The clip, you know, it's a clip. We'll get to that in a second because that's kind of in the bad, and I'll explain in a second. The hardware, I love how big the hardware is. It does have a proprietary pivot. Now, you know, before you weren't allowed to take apart Medfords because you'd void the warranty. Now, I think that's all changed because Greg Medford has been, you know, quoted on, you know, in recording that he's saying that, you know, like he's not just going to automatically void your warranty if you take apart the knife, you know, if you get it back together and everything's fine. He's not going to do that. and he thinks people are pretty ridiculous for thinking that he would do that. He doesn't want, and he'll void the warranty if you take it apart and ruin the knife, if you take it apart and change something on the inside, which I can completely understand. So basically, if you're not used to taking apart knives, don't start with your first knife of being a Medford. You know how to take apart and put together knives, and then you'll be just fine. I don't think he'll void anything. Now, that's my quote. I know he said it in his own words, so, talk to him about it. But I don't think that is a big thing no more, so that's definitely a good thing if he's taking that back. Okay, so you see the stop pins. Stop pins are in the closed position and also in the opening position. I love the sound of it. Just, man, sounds like it's locking up so strong. I love it. When you flick it open, and the action, like I said before, it's so smooth. Look at that. I mean, easy to flick, easy to thumb flick. And this thing, it's just so smooth and easy to manipulate. I really like the size, and I just really like the knife altogether. Now, the drop, okay, so when I open it like this, it's a consistent smoothness the whole way through, all the way around. It doesn't change the amount of tension or smoothness, and I'm doing it very slow. I can easily go really quick, but it's so smooth. It feels really good, very glassy. Now on the drop, very smooth. Look at that. Now if I just let it sit here, no, it's not going to drop. Like if I just give it a little shake, you see how slow it dropped. But one little slap, almost all the way shut there. One little slap, shuts right up because it's so smooth. This thing is incredibly smooth. I love the detent right here. It's got a nice strong detent, which gives you that power that you need to get that thumb flick. Even though this is kind of smoothed out, you can still get your finger in there and get a nice good thumb flick or middle finger flick. I'm messing up behind the camera, but it's still easy to do even with me behind the camera, so it says a lot. But yeah, so many great things. I love this knife. I love the ergos, love the blade shape, love how versatile it is. Even in the reverse grip, it's awesome. I love this choil. You can get right up to the blade for close, whatever you're going to do up close to the blade for your EDC. I love how smooth it is. Love the action. Love the hardware. Love how strongly it's built. Love the finish. On this particular one, there's all different kinds of finishes. It's endless. But there are always some bads. So let's get to some bads. I do not like the clip. It doesn't hit the titanium. In my opinion, I like it when they have a lot of tension right here. And then, so when you pull it out, it gives you that little snap. Now, there's not also a ton of room right there. Will it fit in jeans? Yeah. And then even in jeans, since this is a heavy knife, it's not like you're going to have to worry about it just bouncing right out of your pocket or anything. So the clip probably works just fine. I didn't carry or use this thing, but I don't really prefer the clip. I already know I don't like clips to do that, so that's just a thing. Is it a big thing? No, it's not a big thing. Another thing is this tang right here. Now, it's going to possibly, if you drop it, using it for work, you could possibly damage right there. I don't know what Greg would do about that. I'm sure he'd take care of it, but that's me quoting that, not him. The proprietary hardware, that's going to be a little bit harder to find. Is it a big deal? No, I know there's plenty of tools. I even got tools that'll fit that just fine, so I'm sure you can find them. Right here, though, you can get pinched. This one isn't as bad, I don't think, because you don't really sit up here when you do that, but if your skin's right there and it clicks in, you can possibly pinch your skin in there. That goes for the majority, not all, but a lot of external stop pins that are like that. That being said, I still like the external stop pins, but it's just, a thing. Also, I forgot to mention in the good, I like the access to the lock bar. It works just fine. Now, I know the slim MIDI, people are complaining that there's not enough room right here, and the tension from the lock bar is so hard, and with it being so thin, it hurts their thumb. This one's not like that. This is very easy to unlock, very comfortable to unlock. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that really quick. Look how smooth that is. Bam! bam, so smooth. Some more bad things. Okay, what else was there? I thought there was one other thing. Oh, this isn't really a bad thing because it's so smooth, but I could see, you know, might be just a pinch better if the edge around this was just a fraction sharper. And I mean, that's something so petty, because you see how easily I could sit here and play with it. So but you see how I can slip out right there, you know, so that can happen. So, but you see how easily I've been playing with it, so it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, like even with a middle finger flick, you can't, I meant to slip out. See, it's pretty easy, but yeah, you can, you know, slip out of there. I love the big standoffs. Ooh, I forgot to mention that too. There's so many great things here that, you know, you forget some things. But yeah, I love this knife. Not too many bad things in there, all pretty petty. So love this knife. And this, I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out which one I like more between this and the 187, because I really like the 187. I like them all so far, all of them. But I think this one might take the cake. I'm really liking this. I did find the blade shape on the 187 possibly a little more useful, but this thing's ergos are fantastic. So is the 187s, though. That's why I'm having a hard time. I'd almost have to have them both next to each other, playing with them to figure it out. I did really like that 3V on the 187 that I tried. I really, really, really want to try the Slim Midi now and the Praetorian Slim, but this thing's amazing. If anybody has one, you already know, and if you don't have one, it's an incredible knife. Like I said, it's a big statement to say the best ergos on a knife, and I'm not going to say the best, and I'm talking about for a frame lock now. Now, when you talk about something like this or this, it's going to be a little different. They're not frame locks. So for a frame lock knife, this is definitely, so far, probably in my top 10. All right, guys. Peace.